Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
Hi. Thanks. I'm fine. And you?
Good. I'm good. Can you see me and hear me
Yeah,
okay?
perfectly.
Awesome. Good. Can you give me access to record also on my side?
Uh, I hope so.
You click on me up at the in the participant thing and then
Uh-huh.
click on hover over my name and then click
Allowed to record.
more. Yeah, allowed to record.
Found it.
Yes. Okay. Good. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for coming and for agreeing to participate because it's a pilot version and you're the first guest.
Oh boy. I,
Yeah.
I hope I won't leave you in the without energy for the rest of the people.
No. I hope
Good proof of
I
concept.
have a good feeling about this. So,
Good.
and I know that you are really popular in Russia. I mean, you had two books published here, translated
Yeah.
about Burn Your Portfolio and then about psychology of pricing and
Yes.
design.
Uh huh.
And so I decided that you're well known for Americans and also for Russians, so it could be a good start.
I love
So
it. I hope to get back to Russia sometime soon. I miss going to Russia. I
yeah,
was going. It was almost during a 3 year time frame. I went there 3 times. Well, it was about in about 2.5 years. I went. I had 3 trips to Russia. So I'm missing Russia because of this coronavirus.
yeah. What did you like most in Russia?
Oh, you know what? I just love that it surprised me so much how generous and good the people are. Because when you see American movies, the Russians are always the mafia and they're always the bad guy in the spy movie. And so when I came to Russia, I was surprised at how just open and warm and friendly and talkative and generous Russian people were. And I really, really connected with several people there and made a lot of great friends. And I think the whole experience just surprised me so much on how much I loved it. And it was I spent most of my time in Moscow, and I think I was surprised at how safe Moscow feels because I've been to a lot of big American cities. I've spent a lot of time in New
Yeah.
York and Chicago and LA, and Moscow feels safer to me than most of the American cities that are that big.
Yeah,
So
I think I know what you're talking about. I've been to New York when I was 18. It was like 10 years ago already.
yeah,
But I already, my first experience was that I actually almost entered the like black blocks
uh,
on the north of the Central Park.
yeah,
And I met people that told me that you better not go around
don't go in
here.
there. Yeah,
Yes, I didn't know. So it was my
yeah,
first time.
yeah,
But in Moscow, we don't have such places. Like you can go actually anywhere, and well, it's pretty safe everywhere.
yeah. It's pretty safe. I was surprised at that. Yeah, it's good. I love it. Can't wait to go back. And I miss
Yeah.
Georgian food.
Oh
I know
yeah.
Georgian food's
Yes.
not Russian, but Georgian food on every street corner, it's
Yes.
everywhere. And in the United States, I can't get Georgian food where I live. There are a lot of restaurants like in New York where you can get it, but not. I live in
Yeah.
Salt Lake City and I don't have good access to Georgian food. I need some
Yeah.
hachapuri.
Oh, I had today one actually.
You
So
did?
yes, yeah, it's very popular in Siberia as well. So
Oh,
we,
yeah. Yeah. Good.
so let me tell you a little bit more about what we're gonna have today, what the conversation we're going to have. This micro interview thing I'm planning to do is a short interview. It has 7 questions. They are all the time the same for every person, but I suppose that the answers will be different because, well, everybody has different experience. And
Okay.
the topics we're going to cover are managing and leadership. And here is something that I was confused about. That in Russian we have one word for this, like a manager, and we use it for every person who manages teams, processes. But in English, you have different words for every kind of managing. Like you have a manager, you have an executive, you have an administrator, and also a leader. And I think that maybe what we can combine both things like management and leadership today, because well, I don't know It's a really slight difference for me, but maybe you'll help me out here with this.
Good. Okay.
And so the first question is, how do you define a manager or a leader, or slash leader? Who is it actually?
Who is a leader? Like, how do you define a leader?
Yeah, like a leader of the team, for example. Yeah.
You know, I have a book called You Don't Need a Title to Be a Leader. And I love that concept that it doesn't need to necessarily be the owner of the company or the director of the department, that anybody can be a leader. The definition of a leader is somebody who other people follow. That's what makes them a leader. And I had people on my production team at my agency that were not the head of a department, but people followed them. People admired them, respected them, knew that they had answers to their problems, and so they were willing to follow somebody like that. You see this a lot on sports teams, that it's not always the captain of a sports team who is the leader of that team. There are a lot of other leaders in the team just because their talent level is high enough there so that they're respected by the other people on the team, that they know that they can learn from that person, so they follow them. And so I like that concept of leadership, that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have the title of being a leader. Just have a skill set and a personality that people are willing to follow, and that will make you a leader.
What qualities could it be? The skill set, what would it be?
The skill set, so the qualities, you have to have a skill set in whatever the task is. So if you're working in a creative department, you should have a high level design skill set, for example. Or if you're in a programming team, you should have a high level ability to program. That's just one piece of it. But the other things that you need to be able to be a leader in that team are communication skills, the ability to communicate with people up the chain from you and people down the chain from you. You need to have the ability to mentor and inspire other people, to help them solve a problem that they're having. They call you over to tell you their problem, and you have the answer to them. You've got to be able to problem solve, I think is the way, and to deliver it in a way that is accepted by the person. You see a lot of people who they can solve a problem, but the manner in which they solve it is condescending or abusive to the person that they're solving it for. And that's not leadership, that's bullying. Yeah. So I think that these people skills are super critical for successful leadership.
Wow, that's a really good insight for me. How did you realize that your power was in management and leadership? How do you understand this? What was it?
I had some early experiences in my life in my 20s where I had some leadership opportunities. I didn't consider myself a leader until I got to my job when I worked at Fox Studios, which I was 28 years old, and I got a job as a creative director at Fox Studios, and I had a big team of designers and front-end developers and account managers that I managed. And a lot of the people on my team were older than I was. In fact, most of these people thought that I was older than I was. I was 28, and I asked one of the people on my team who was 40, I said, "How old do you think I am?" This is after we had worked together for several months. And he said, "I don't know, maybe 38, 39, 40, somewhere in there." So he thought I was 10, 12 years older than I actually was. That's when I started to realize that one of my strengths wasn't just the technical skills to do a job, but it was the ability to lead other people and to inspire and motivate and mentor other people. That's when I started to kind of realize that that was something that I did well, fortunately, in my life. And since then, I've had a lot of great experiences in leadership in my life.
Share something, one thing that has changed your perception of leadership and management. It could be anything, maybe a book, a person, a situation, or a client, a project, whatever it is.
The book that changed a lot for me is called The E-Myth Revisited. I talk about it a lot on my podcast and in my content. It's by Michael Gerber, and one of the core fundamental principles in that book is that systems run the business and people run the systems. And this kind of changed my paradigm of my leadership style, that I needed to have a systematic process for everything that we do in our business. It's a structured system. Think of it like a checklist. You have to do this, then this, then this, then this. And he uses in the book one of the greatest examples of systems in all the world, which is McDonald's, that you can get hired at McDonald's. I know McDonald's is popular in Russia as well, so yeah. I use it as an example. But you can get hired at McDonald's today, and by the end of the day today, you can be making their entire menu. You can make everything that they have on their menu because it's so systematic. The people are running the systems. Now, when you have structured systems inside of your business that people are managing, then you don't need a leader to be telling them what to do every second of the day. You don't need somebody standing over their shoulder saying, okay, now do this, now do this, now do this, now do this. It's the system that manages the people. And the people run the system. And that changed my mindset around leadership. And in fact, when I had problems at my agency, I had structured systems for everything we did at my agency. And when I had a problem happen at my agency, my first inkling was to look at the system and say, okay, what broke in the system? What did we not follow here? Or what are we missing in our process that would have solved this problem? And then I would modify the process. And instead of standard way of people looking at that, there's a problem in your business and you look at it, a bad leader looks at it and says, John did a bad job. John, we got to get rid of John. He doesn't do good work. My leadership style, based on this concept of the E-Myth of systems run the business, people run the system, is, John did a bad job. We must have a broken system in here somewhere. We must have a broken process, because if we had a good process and John followed the process, then everything would have been fine. So what do we need to fix in the process or in the system? And it's a different leadership style than we often think. Leadership isn't telling somebody what to do all day. Leadership is implementing structured systems that people can manage inside of your business. And it's a much healthier business that way.
Great. That's really good advice. And I like that. I like that approach. And I try to use it also in my studio. The next question is also about you. What is your number one technique of making decisions? For example, do you go with the instincts, or maybe it's a cold hard math? How do you make a what do you do when you have to make a difficult decision, like fire someone or sell a company, for example? I know you sold your company, and how did you make this? I mean, it's really hard.
I make emotional decisions based on data. I think that's my answer to that question. So I want to see the numbers before we just say, oh, there's a problem here. I'll give you an example. I had somebody reach out to me about a pricing question, and she said, I'm just struggling to get people to pay the $1,000 price. I can get people to pay me $800, $900, but I can't get people over the $1,000 barrier. That was her question to me. How do I do that? And my answer was, show me the data. I want to see all the projects that you pitched and how many of them you won at what certain price points. I want to see those numbers to see if we even really have a problem here. And most often, people don't know the data. They're just wandering around feeling emotional about their business, and they get nervous and scared, and they don't actually know the numbers, which tell you if you should be emotional or scared. So I was always about, give me the data and the metrics, and then I'm going to analyze that, and then I'm going to make my emotional or my decision from my gut as to what I think I should do. But it has to come after a numeric analysis. And when I sold my agency, it came after analyzing, okay, how much money have I made in my life at my agency? How much do I have in the bank? How much do I have in my business accounts? How much could I make in the future? Do I want to continue at the risk level that I have owning an agency with lots of employees to yield the greater amount of money in the future? And my decision in that was no. I had plenty of money already. I had made a lot of money in my agency. I didn't want to have all that at risk any longer for the opportunity of making more money in the future when I didn't need more money. I was content with the amount that I had at that phase of my life. And so I looked at it and made my emotional decision based on an analytical analysis to then sell my agency and then pursue other things like what I'm doing now for my career.
Wow, great. It's really cool. We have like 3 questions left.
Okay.
Maybe the next one might have already asked, but anyway, just to make sure that we have it. What makes a leader a leader? In other words, is it possible to learn to lead people and manage them, or is it just a gift, or you can anyone can develop it? What do you think?
So I think some people have that as a natural born gift. They're born with leadership skills. But I do believe that it can be learned by anybody, just like anything. I think that we can learn anything. I think that we only use a certain minuscule amount of our potential as human beings. And I think we can learn so much more than we think we're capable of. So I think that anybody can learn leadership. Where I would start on learning leadership is with people skills. It's your ability to interact and coordinate and manage and inspire other people. That's at the heart of being a good leader. So start with people skills. And some of the books, or the book that I always recommend for this is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's written by Dale Carnegie. It's one of the oldest self-help books of all time. It's so good because it gives you some of those fundamental skills that will make you a better leader. So start with a book like that. Start implementing some of the techniques that you learn. Practice them until they become inside of you natural, and you do them without even thinking. That's the thing. I mean, you've got to turn some of these educational moments that you have into personal habits that you repeat over and over again without even noticing that you're doing it. So I think that book is a great place to start, but it's people skills that is the thing that most people who don't feel like they're a good leader, that's what they need to learn, are these people skills.
So we're coming to the end.
Okay.
2 questions left. Describe your management style in 1 word. How would you describe yourself? Your management style. Yeah.
I want to. I don't know. I'll give you a few words, but I'll give them as options for the 1 word. So 1 is systematic. My management style is systematic. Like I mentioned earlier, It's those systems, boom, 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 checklists, tasks. People understand the system and they follow it. And I run that for myself too. I have a very systematic way of working in my own tasks that I do. So that's number one. An optional other word would be empowering. I like to help other people feel like they're doing well, that they're progressing, that they're going to be able to achieve what they hope to achieve in their career or their life or whatever, that they're going to be able to overcome the challenge that they're facing. I try to be motivational, empowering like that to other people. So I would say those are probably the two words that come to mind.
Great. Yeah, I actually made this question really hard because I know that one word is really hard to answer.
Yeah,
but
it is really hard.
I expected that people would say more because, well, no one can explain the style in one word. So
yeah,
that's a tricky question.
It's a good question though. It's a good one. Keep it on your list.
And this last question is your parting advice for the people who will read this article. Those will be managers, leaders, maybe art directors, designers, whatever. What could you advise them?
I think my parting advice is what I've been doing: business coaching, content creation, writing books, and speaking at conferences and stuff for the last couple of years. And I think one of the biggest challenges that people face is that they set their expectations way too low. That so many people can think a little bigger and dream a little bigger than what they do right now. We live in a global economy. There's no reason that somebody in Siberia can't decide that they want to have Disney as a client. They can actually achieve that in 2021 and beyond. It's a global economy. It's a global marketplace. So most people are dreaming too small, and I think you can open up your eyes a bit and dream a little bigger and accomplish so much more than what most people are currently thinking to accomplish. I think that's my parting thought. You're going to realize what your dreams are. That's what's going to happen in your life. And you're a great example. So you have a studio that you're a creative studio. You're doing a podcast and interviews and things. You're doing things like this. You're dreaming bigger than a lot of people dream right now. But what's next for you? How much bigger can it be for you? Are you dreaming big enough? And most people aren't even dreaming as big as you are. So I think those are kind of my parting thoughts, is that you can open your eyes a bit more and see what you can accomplish in life. You only get one shot at this mortal life that we have.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's all questions I wanted to ask. The last one is not a question, but probably asking for a favor. Can you name two people you think I should talk to about the same topics, ask them the same questions about management and leadership?
Yes, let me give you, so one, I have my podcast with Tom Ross, and he's great, but he's super busy right now.
Yeah.
So he would be, he still runs a 7-figure, almost 8-figure business. So he's one who would be a little more challenging to talk to. Let me scrub down some of my closer friends in this creative community here and see. You know who might be good is Tina Walczak. Do you know Tina?
No, not yet.
So Tina Walczak, Walczak.
Mm-hmm.
She would be good. James Martin would be good. And how about Tony Szymanski? TonySemansKee. How about those?
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's more than two. So
I know it's more than two.
it's great because, well, I don't know that many people in Western creative community. That's why it's a bit harder for me. But I follow a lot of people, but
Yeah.
I don't have a connection with them yet. So maybe if I'll have your reference,
Yeah.
so maybe it'll be easier to contact them and
Yeah, I will, for sure.
ask them about interview. And of course, I would like to receive any feedback from you about this interview. Was it good? Did you like it? Were the questions all right? Anything?
Oh, it was super good. Great questions. I liked it. I liked the timeline of it. Is great too. Easy for me to fit in. So, yeah, I think you nailed it. It was good, and I think the questions are interesting. And I think that there's hopefully some good little sound bites in there for your article.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have time, could you please write some of this? Write a small feedback for me so I can put it on my website about
Yeah.
this experience. It'll be great help for my project to launch it. So I'm finishing the design now, and actually I can show you just
Oh, yeah. I would love it. Show me.
show how it will look. Because you're the first guest, so you can see it. Like you'll be first who will see this. Nobody saw it yet. So it will be like this. It's in Russian. Okay, here is English. For example, like this. I'll put this
Yeah. Yeah.
your name already. So there'll
Yeah.
be a small photo and a description of who you are. You also
Nice.
can send it to me how you want to be represented. And there will be a quote from your interview, so people could see on the front page, do they want to continue and read more about this guy, for example?
Yeah.
Because first I wanted to put the big photo, but then I understand that the interviews are not about photos, but more about thoughts that people
Yeah.
deliver. So I thought it will be a better option to do this.
Yeah. It looks great.
And
It's
well,
going to be awesome. What's your site look like now? Do you have something up?
yeah, it's I can send it to you.
Is it lepkin.me?
Yes, that's right.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
like an email. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It has only blog now and the front and the main page, homepage, but it's gonna be I'm developing more pages now, and there'll be also courses and well more. So you can subscribe by RSS or anything else.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Lepikin.
Yeah, Russian surnames are hard to spell, I know.
Yeah.
Sorry to that.
It's on my list to learn how to speak Russian. I started a couple years ago after my last trip to Russia, but I'm gonna get my Russian going in my life. Okay, well, this looks awesome. Yes, I'll write you a little testimonial that you can use for sure. I'm going to do that right now before I jump into the next thing in my day.
And you can also send, if you have some preferences about photo, you can also send a photo you would like to put. I would put
Okay,
on
I
the
have
site.
I have a little press kit that
Oh,
has a bunch of
good.
photos in it, and you can just pick one from it. So I'll send you that link.
Thank you. Thank you for a great
Yeah.
conversation. Have a good day.
All right, thanks. We'll see ya
See ya.
later.